Hey guys, this is JJ Andy and welcome to CG Market Watch Live. Alright, so today's topic is very simple. It's just, are we custodian wallet ready? Alright, so that's the main topic today. Are we ready for what is about to come? And just talking about it on Monday, talking about custodian wallets and what is the institutional traders or investors waiting for. And today, just yesterday and today, we have a lot of good news, right? That is happening to the market. So I'm gonna just quickly cover some of the news. And then of course, we're gonna go to our usual BTC, ETH and Litecoin. Alright, so let's begin. So what we're looking at here, which is the coin market cap, right? We see Bitcoin dominance hovering at 52.5%. I mean, on Monday, it was also about the same level. So pretty much it has just been consolidating. We haven't seen much movement coming across. We haven't seen funds shifting from BTC to the altcoins. Therefore, the Bitcoin dominance is about the same. But one thing that we kind of understand is the market cap even is just moving up and down slightly. There's not a lot of movement. And overall market has slightly recovered. Of course, Ripple saw a huge decline yesterday and now it's up 17% again for whatever reason that they can justify. So we'll see. Maybe Ripple might even surpass Ethereum once again, right? So maybe this will happen on Friday. I'll do a video again and says Ripple overtakes Ethereum the second time this year. Okay, so that could happen on Friday as well. We don't see much movement coming from Ethereum. I'll talk about it on a charts later, so just to kind of explain to you. And of course, we look at the rest of the other cryptocurrencies. Not much movement. It's all below 2-digit percentage growth. And of course, some small caps like Electronium, Steel Palm, things like that. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into it that deeply, just to kind of just cover it in a macro point of view. So just to talk about some quick news, alright. So this particular news caught my eyes, which is when JP Morgan blockchain platform onboards 75 multinational banks to keep payment in-house. So this was something that we were talking about on Monday, right? About custodian wallets, about custodian services, where institutional traders have no idea that you could actually store a particular asset called cryptocurrency into something like a USB drive, which is like a ledger. And losing it means your funds could be gone potentially, right? And therefore institutional traders are scared to come in to the space. But all of us kind of know that if you have been in the crypto space for a while, we kind of realize and we kind of know that probably the next wave to come will be led by the institutional traders, will be led by the mainstream investors. I think that's what we are all waiting for the bullish times to come. Question is, will it come this year? Question is, will BUC be the mover? And when will it come, right? I mean, last year, the huge pump or the huge bulls came in November, mid-November. Will it come this year? That's just about 2 months away, right? So that's something for us to note. And so I'm not going to go into huge majority of the news, but we can see how JP Morgan expanded a blockchain payment platform to over 75 multinational banks. And could it be also in the talks of creating custodian wallets? I mean, it hasn't been something new. A lot of different banks, a lot of different companies have been talking about creating that custodian wallet, just to be able to hold cryptocurrency for their clients. It's happening. All right. The next good news, I think, it's really about Coinbase. Now, this is something major. It kind of caught my eyes this morning when I was looking through my usual research, and I stumbled across one of a posts in one of a project that I've been paying attention to. And so someone was mentioning, hey, you could ask the team to kind of apply into Coinbase right now. So I was wondering, what do you mean? I thought Coinbase just lists only a few main key currencies, cryptocurrencies. And I first started buying cryptocurrencies through Coinbase. That was 2 years ago. And so I went on to kind of understand the news, which is that, now as a project, as long as you are kind of legal in your own particular country. So for instance, let's say I've established in Singapore, I've got a project, and I'm able to submit certain documents that are required by Coinbase, and I'm able to potentially be listed on Coinbase. Okay, so here says has announced a new process that will allow you to list more digital assets faster and compliant with local law, which means the certain asset listed on the platform may only be available to customers in particular jurisdiction. So for instance, let's say I'm in Singapore and this particular token is only kind of legal in that particular country. Maybe I won't be able to gain access to it, but my counterpart in that particular country, say maybe Thailand for instance, will be able to gain access to being able to purchase that token on Coinbase. All right, so I think that's a really good news. And think about it in this sense. Coinbase, Gemini, and a few common ones are the first kind of not exactly the first, but they are some of the most well-known exchange that we first get into, right? So I mean, people all around the world, we kind of know different ways. You can buy it from OTC nowadays, you can do it many ways, but we know that Coinbase and Gemini, has been some of the bigger players for a very, very long time. And therefore, this is really, really a good news, because for projects that would want to go into Coinbase, to get a mainstream exposure, to get more people attention on it, I think this is really, really good news, okay? Especially for projects, the legit projects that are still building. And it comes to the next question of what is in the future, right? Which kind of projects are we talking about in terms of legitimacy? Are they real? Is it legit? Does it mean that once you raise funds, it means it's a legit project? Of course, most of us should know it's not, because it all depends on whether the team is still building, right? Can it last for, a project that lasts for 10 months doesn't mean that it will last for the next 5 to 10 years. So there's so many things to weigh when it comes to a project nowadays, all right? So definitely, in my point of view, anything that can be listed on Coinbase will enjoy that potential volume that comes through, and I think it's a great news for projects out there, okay? Next, of course, this is something that's good from marketing point of view, even for us. Google to reverse crypto ad bans for exchanges advertising in US and Japan. So are they just reversing in the two states? Yeah, I think so. In two countries. Are they gonna be openly saying that they're gonna be open up for all of it? We're not sure yet. All right. But opening up on Google do and will bring potentially a lot more marketing margin in that sense. Okay, so I wonder if that is after Facebook and Twitter, they kind of reverse their ban, yeah, and so I'm wondering, Google is just following this, following what Facebook has been doing to reverse the ban in that sense. And so this is just something food for thought, right? What exactly is Google and Facebook trying to do, right? Initially, they banned crypto ads, and then now they're enabling it. So what is going on, okay? All right, so let's go on to Buck. Let's talk quickly about it. So this is just a quick news. NYSE owner, Jeff Spritzer, wants to bring Bitcoin to your 401k. Are crypto credit cards ready? Backed by Microsoft and Starbucks, Intercontinental Exchange is launching a startup called Buck to make the cryptocurrency safe for a retirement fund and maybe for retail too. So this is something that we all have been looking at. We've been paying so much attention on it that we kind of missed out, and we kind of forget that CBOE did actually requested or apply for a fund, and we are pending SEC approval. Most of us just cannot remember anymore. So we are all attention is kind of on Buck now. So will it go through? Yeah, most probably. In fact, Buck just kind of released a statement on Twitter yesterday that our first contracts will be physically delivered in Bitcoin's futures contract versus fiat currencies, including US dollars, GBP, and Euro dollars. For example, buying $1 BTC futures contract will result in a daily delivery of 1 Bitcoin into the customer's account. And here, when we talk about customer's account, we could also be referring to a custodian wallet, a custodian account that Buck has created, and therefore the funds still kind of circulates within their account, right? So they are still able to use particularly your cryptocurrencies that is in the custodian wallet to do whatever that they want. It's the same thing that is happening in the banks nowadays. When you save money in the bank, they're still able to use your funds to channel elsewhere, make their profit, give you that small interest, and that's how they make money. So same thing, what if they're doing the same exact thing to cryptocurrencies? They're just kind of regulating it, but at the same time to their benefit. What else, right? Okay, so let's talk about BTC, ETH, and Litecoin, all right? And there's good news to Litecoin as well. So we're gonna address that today, okay? So let's talk about in terms of a daily chart first, and then most likely I'll just focus on daily chart for today, all right? Because it's just been consolidating. There's nothing much to really talk about. Okay, so this is BTC chart, and of course I've been talking about BTC for the longest period of time, and the thing about technical analysis is there are so many people, so many chartists around. Some could be better than me, no doubt, but what I'm trying to just interpret from what I can see and just sharing with all of you here openly is that we can see that BTC has been going on this curve pattern, okay? I don't think I'll be able to draw these very, very well, but let me just try and show you what I mean, right? So you can actually see this particular curve. Let me just change it to a sharp pink color so you can see it better. Okay, so you can see this particular, okay, maybe green. All right, so you can see this particular curve that's here, okay? And if I were just to copy paste a few of them, you should be able to see a certain a certain trend in that. All right, that what I'm trying to say here is that we have been forming smaller and smaller cup. Okay, not too sure whether we can conclude it as a cup and handle, because it never really did continue its uptrend. In fact, it's been dipping. So, but the point that I want to point out is you realize that the curves are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So the only possibility that we talk about in terms of chart pattern, or in terms of just how things are playing out like that, I'm not referring it to be a bearish wedge, a bullish wedge, or whatever, but just basing it on, you know, psychology, you know, and just understanding that based on this curve, the range is getting tighter, it's getting smaller on daily, and it looks poised to pump. Okay, so it's not me saying it that it may dip below that, I'm not sure, but we can also see that if you were to draw a trend line just from here all the way to here, you can see that it's kind of horizontal, right? So that's a agreed support that we are looking at. It's about 5,008 to about 6,200. That level, if breached, we will go really low, but it seems like, you know, the curves have shown that we have been sustaining above that level, which is pretty cool, which is pretty good. All right, so talking about BTC prices of today, we are looking at a change in trend, right? So what will happen in this particular past 3 days is that we see a 3 black crow candle formation, and finally I'm hoping to see really a reversal candle right here happening, and therefore we may be heading up. We're still trading below EMA 50, EMA 200. We're still trading below the Kumo cloud, so that's not really a very good news. In fact, RSI is also below 50, so that's kind of like a bearish trend. But hopefully, as long as we can breach above the 6,500 level and close above, we may just potentially see some upside. And of course, hopefully we can close above 664 at EMA 50, and we start progressing upwards of this diagonal line and break out of the trend, and at the same time breaking out of breaking out of the trend, and breaking out of EMA 200 and the cloud. So break off diagonal trend, break out Kumo cloud, and of course break out EMA 200. So therefore, you may then potentially see some upside movement. Of course, the main assumption here I have is that we have to break out of the previous high, which is at $7,400. Sorry for the pricing, you can't see well, but I'm just gonna hover it there, 7.4. We have to kind of surpass that previous high to be able to at least see some bullishness. Okay, it has to break this curve cycle, if not we'll just keep going down. All right, so that's for BTC, and that's what I'm really looking at. For ETH wise, it's really very hard to kind of conclude where ETH exactly is going. Of course, we kind of assume that ETH would move in conjunction or together, converging together with BTC movement, but the unfortunate thing that you can really see is that ETH is not really sustaining very well. It's below everything, in fact even below EMA 50, but you can see that BTC is really closer to EMA 50 as compared to ETH wise, even on daily, even if I zoom it out. And what I expected was kind of like a reversal, but it didn't really happen, and there was a breakaway that happens here. So what it meant is that when the market opened, it was so much of a selling volume that it dipped extremely low. So it comes to a question of when will ETH exactly recover? I mean, you look at RSI, when it kind of went above 50, it couldn't even sustain the upward movement. And looking at BTC, it still went above 50, you know, it could still sustain for a period of days. But ETH, I don't want to use the word pathetic, but it is. And we're going below 50 again. All right, so when we break a breakaway candle is never good news. Okay, so however, it does open up to shorting potential. All right, so I'm just letting you guys know this is for ETH. Okay, so $218 of course will be kind of like the next resistance that it has to breach up. Okay, if not, we may see it heading to $197,200 level. All right. Okay, so let's talk about Litecoin. I'm quite I shouldn't say I'm quite kind of slightly hopeful on Litecoin. Okay, one of the reasons is also because Litecoin will be added to Gemini, right? So the Winklevoss twins actually kind of said that they are going to be listing Litecoin, so I guess that's a pretty good news, right? That's a pretty big news, but did it really have much impact on the price? Not really. But I guess probably the good news is that at least it's performing slightly better than Ethereum. I mean, we just cross-check both charts, and you realize that, hey, you know, Ethereum compared to Litecoin, you could just see how much difference it is, right? And you can see that EMA 50 is in the cloud itself. For Ethereum, because of the price movement, the moving average is being pushed down closer to the price. So Litecoin potentially looking at the reversal candle. Okay, I'm really hopefully looking at it, and it may potentially be seeing a reversal soon. We also see a certain chart formation that has a potential of breaking out of the cloud, and we are still hopefully. I still have to look at it bridging the cloud and the EMA 50 at $61 for us to see more upside for Litecoin, but overall, as compared between Litecoin and Ethereum, I am slightly more favorable on Litecoin, and it has actually went above RSI 50 for a few times, lasted for a few days. So that's kind of like a good sign. And you realize how BTC's price movement kind of correlates with Litecoin slightly in terms of movement. So I think that's really the fundamental good news about Litecoin, and are still developing, even though Charlie Lee sold most of his share on Litecoin. But well, that's cryptocurrency space, right? What can we expect? All right, so that's all the time I have for CG Market Watch Live today. Stay tuned on Friday, and guys, CG Elite Group will be closing off in just 2 days. So link is a little below in a YouTube video. So please, if you would like to know more analysis, if you would like to know the full analysis that we provide to our CG Elite members, do subscribe, or do look out for the link below, or join our Telegram group and ask our admins there. We will help you out. Alright, so take care guys, and see you in the next video.